3 days before Christmas, a game developer at a Microsoft studio got the meeting invite everyone dreads. He was being laid off. That happens to thousands of people every December. Here's the part that doesn't. In his own words, he had, quote, no idea they were using my own damn work to train artificial intelligence to replace me. He built the games. The company fed his work to a machine. The machine learned his job. And then, 3 days before Christmas, the machine no longer needed him. That's one anonymous account posted online. We can't verify it. But here's why it rings true. The same year, staff at the studio behind Candy Crush, about 200 people, were reportedly laid off and replaced by the very artificial intelligence tools they had spent years helping to build. Level designers, writers, researchers. This is not a story about robots taking jobs. This is a story about something crueler. The system doesn't just replace you anymore, it makes you teach your replacement first. And that playbook wasn't invented by artificial intelligence. It was invented by accountants 10 years ago in the happiest place on earth. This channel reads the paperwork of the post-labor economy out loud. Welcome back to HumanSurplus. This is file number 2. I trained the machine that took my job. October 2014, Walt Disney World, Orlando. Around 250 technology workers, the people who ran the systems behind the parks, are called into conference rooms. One of them, Leo Pereiro, later described that meeting to the United States Senate under oath. This is what they were told, quote, your jobs have been given over to a foreign workforce. You will be training your replacements until your jobs are 100% transferred over to them, and if you don't cooperate, you will not receive any severance pay. End quote. Read that again. The severance check, the money that keeps your family afloat while you look for work, was conditional on 90 days of training the person taking your job. Workers sat next to their replacements, brought in on foreign guest worker visas through outsourcing firms, and walked them through everything they knew, screen by screen, password by password, skill by skill. And when the transfer was complete, they were gone. Disney wasn't alone. Southern California Edison, the giant utility, cut around 400 technology workers the same year, with about 100 more pushed to leave, while their work moved to offshore outsourcing firms. Same playbook. The Disney workers sued. The lawsuits were dismissed. Disney's own chief executive later admitted that making Americans train their replacements had been, his word, a mistake. But no law was broken, and that's the detail to sit with. Train your replacement or lose your severance is legal. It was tested in court, on television, in Congress, and it survived. All the system needed was a new kind of replacement, one that doesn't need a visa. Fast forward to this year. In March 2026, a reporter for New York Magazine and The Verge published an investigation into the fastest-growing gig economy in America, training artificial intelligence. The companies have names you've probably never heard: Mercor, Scale, Surge, Outlier, Turing. They recruit lawyers who've been laid off, writers who've lost their contracts, teachers, scientists, even police officers, and they pay them around $45 an hour in some cases to do one thing: teach the machine to do their old profession. They write grading rubrics, they score the model's answers, they hand over what the investigation called golden outputs, perfect examples of expert work for the machine to copy. The reporter called it, quote, the largest harvesting of human expertise ever attempted. One woman in the story, a former journalist the piece calls Katya, lost her career to the chatbot boom. Then a recruiting platform came calling. She was even interviewed for the gig by an artificial intelligence recruiter, a machine interviewing a human for the job of training machines. Her words, my job is gone because of ChatGPT, and I was being invited to train the model to do the worst version of it imaginable. And the investigation lands on the sentence that gives this episode its name. Producing training data means working toward your own obsolescence. Any particular gig lasts only as long as it takes the machine to successfully mimic it. Disney needed 90 days and a conference room. Now the whole thing runs online, at scale, on demand. And this time, the replacement being trained is not a person. It's software that never sleeps, never unionizes, and never asks for severance. But you don't have to sign up for a training gig to end up teaching the machine. For a lot of workers, the job itself quietly turns into the training program. Olivia Lipkin was 25, the only copywriter at a San Francisco tech startup. After the chatbot boom hit, she noticed something in the company's internal chats. Managers had started referring to her, not by her name, but as Olivia/ChatGPT. Read that job title again, Olivia/ChatGPT. In April 2023, she was laid off. Managers had been writing that using the chatbot was cheaper than paying a writer. She became a dog walker. A content writer named Eric Fine watched all 10 of his writing contracts cancel, one by one, replaced by the same tool. He retrained as an air conditioning technician and asked the translators. Surveys report that over a third of them have already lost work to generative artificial intelligence. The work that remains has a new shape. The machine translates, and the human cleans up after it. Translators report the cleanup work pays roughly half of what translation paid. Same language skills, same hours at the desk, half the money, because now you're just quality control for the thing that took the job. There's a name for this stage, the hollowing. First, the machine does your job badly, and you're kept on to fix it. At a discount, you correct its mistakes. Every correction makes it better. And when it's good enough, the babysitter gets laid off too. Sometimes the training isn't even disguised as a job. Sometimes it's disguised as a favor. In 2019, a voice actor named Paul Lehrman got a gig on Fiverr. Record some voice lines, the client said, for a research project. Academic use only. He recorded the lines. He got paid a few $100s. Years later, driving in his car, he heard his own voice on a podcast, saying words he had never spoken. The research project was an artificial intelligence startup. It had, he alleges, cloned his voice and sold it under a fake name. And here's the sickening detail. The podcast he heard his clone speaking on was an episode about how artificial intelligence is coming for Hollywood jobs. His own cloned voice, hired to discuss his own replacement. He and another actor sued. He told reporters his bookings had fallen by roughly 50%. The case was grinding through court, parts dismissed, parts allowed to proceed, until the company filed for bankruptcy and the lawsuit was put on pause. Meanwhile, in Britain, Sarah Poyser, a performer from the West End production of Mamma Mia, got an email about a British Broadcasting Corporation project she'd worked on. One line, sent in writing. Quote, "We have the approval to use the artificial intelligence-generated voice, so we won't need Sarah anymore. We won't need Sarah anymore." That's what the end of a career looks like now. It looks like a scheduling email. And now, the twist that tells you exactly where this is going. The trainers are being automated too. Scale, one of the biggest artificial intelligence training companies on Earth, valued at $29 billion after Meta bought a stake, laid off 14% of its staff in July 2025 and cut loose 500 contract workers on top. Elon Musk's artificial intelligence company cut around 500 data trainers in a single September, a third of the team, telling them the general training work was no longer needed. And Appen, an Australian firm whose million crowd workers spent years teaching Google's systems what a good search result looks like, lost its Google contract overnight. Nearly $83 million of revenue gone with an email. Thousands of the human raters behind it, gone with it. Think about what that sequence means. The lawyers trained the model until it could pass for a lawyer. The writers trained it until it could pass for a writer. The raters rated it until it no longer needed rating. The machine they were paid to feed finished eating. And the people running these platforms aren't hiding the logic. The generalists go first. Then the specialists train the next version, and they go too. Every rung of the training ladder burns behind the person climbing it. There is no version of this gig that ends with the machine still needing you. That's not a flaw in the system. That is the system, The product being manufactured is your absence. So let's name the pattern because it has a shape. In the old economy, your skill was your leverage. It lived in your hands and your head. If they wanted it, they had to pay you every single day. What happened at Disney was a transfer of leverage. Hand over what you know or lose the severance. It was ugly and it was rare because it needed you in the room. Artificial intelligence industrialized it. Now the transfer runs through every rubric written for $45 an hour, every correction of a chatbot's draft, every voice line recorded for a research project, every day spent fixing the machine's mistakes at a discount rate. None of it feels like training your replacement. All of it is. Here's the hard question. Could you just refuse? One worker can't. The Disney workers couldn't. Their severance was held hostage. Katya couldn't. The rent was due. When you're the one being sorted, the training gig really is the rational move. That's what makes this machine so effective. It's built entirely out of people making the only move they had, which means the answer isn't personal virtue. It's the same answer this channel keeps arriving at. The only things that protect you are the ones that don't transfer. Owning assets, building an audience, commanding the machines instead of feeding them, because the moment your expertise can be written down, scored, and uploaded, it isn't yours anymore. It's inventory. And you know what happens to humans holding inventory this system no longer needs. They took the job, then they made you write the manual. HumanSurplus tracks the sorting in real time, the receipts, the filings, the training gigs they think nobody reads about. Subscribe and read the file they keep on you. Because you're on the list either way, you might as well see it.